Chapter 32 was driving him to the airport and Theo was sitting in the back seat. If he had forgotten anything, he had informed all the necessary at the university and told his neighbors and editors of his departure. Also remembered to lock the phone as well as the windows. There was nothing of value in the house, just the house itself, but these days thieves anything, so everything had to be locked, double locked, even triple locked. He had met the gardener and night watchman, and given them their instruction. They were to guard the property until he got back. This time, however, he did not tell them when he would return. He suspected that the last time he went away they had used the garage to house relatives from Gindiri and Kafinjan, and sold produce from his garden, maize, oranges, tomatoes and bananas. Even though he had specifically instructed them not to. He had also asked Yusuf to check on the house from time to time. Yes, things in Nigeria were tough, but this did not give workers the right to take liberties with his property. Usually, he traveled for 2 to 3 weeks, enough time to attend several academic conferences and present a paper or two. But this trip would be different. He was going to Europe for the first time in 4 years and it would keep him out of Nigeria for at least 6 months, which was the length of the visiting professorship in London. After that, he was not sure what he would do. A lot depended on what happened in Nigeria and to the university, but for now the University of Jos remained closed and no one knew when it would reopen. "You dare graze!" Abdu shouted suddenly, pressing his palm forcefully against the horn. "Foolish man," Theo added, seeing the petrol tanker overtake within yards of oncoming traffic. The memory of his mother's accident flashed through his mind. Theo shook his head angrily. It was pure chance whether or not you were in an accident caused by these lawless drivers. "Professor, if you can find me a job in England I will be so happy," Abdu broke into Theo's thoughts. "I will see what I can do. But you know in England if you don't have work, NG papers they won't employ you these days. When I was a student we didn't lead visas and that sort of thing, but everything has changed now. It's not like the old days." "Yes, sir." Abdu paused for a moment. "But by God's grace I must go. May I can find an English wife, so as not to be troubled by the authorities." "Maybe," Theo contemplated, "but make sure you love her and not just their papers. Marriage is a very serious thing, young man," he said, wincing as the "a very serious thing" was just the sort of utterance that a man his age was zeros to make, especially given that his marriage had not survived. "Listen. Me, because I failed, I should know. It was so easy to declare marriage a just thing and yet here was such a cliché, and what use had it served him? It ended the relationship with Vanessa because he had lost his nerve, and then sensibly married Miriam because, from all indications, it was the right thing to do. If he had followed his heart, and not his head, he would have chosen differently. Perhaps it had nothing to do with head versus heart and everything to do with him and his inability to understand women and relate to them. In a few hours he would be seeing his old girlfriend, a married woman whom he still loved. A woman married to his old benefactor. Marriage is a very serious thing, so what was he doing thinking constantly of the age difference between Edward and Vanessa? Edward would soon die and then Vanessa would be free. Free to be with him. He wasn't proud of this train of thought, but he could not stop the thoughts nor prevent himself from expressing affection in his letters. Of course he did it in such a way that could be interpreted by a third person as simply an expression of deep friendship. Her letters were the same. It seemed to him that they both understood what the other was doing, each discreetly expressing their love. But what if he were mistaken? Perhaps this was simply what he wanted to think. Vanessa had never said she was unhappy with Ed Ward, and, even if she had, what were they to do? How wrong it would be to come between two people in a marriage. No, he would never do that. Life must go on. He had brought Vanessa's diary with him and would return it. Whatever he might feel, he must behave responsibly and keep his desire in check. And so he tried to think of other things. He pictured their home with Edward's history books stacked high on the shelves as they were in Oxford, and his art. There would be plenty of African art now, the combined collection of two art lovers. Lovers, THC word echoed uncomfortably in Theo's head as he calqued Edward's advice on marriage. Theo looked at himself in the rear-view mirror and realized that he had not imagined how he might appear to Vanessa. In 4 years, he had aged, gaunt, and balding now, not young and muscular like his younger self. He looked away. Outside, storm clouds had gathered, and within minutes the sky had turned from pale blue to a threatening charcoal gray. Birds took flight and a iron monkey dashed across the road running for cover. Theo thought that their lorry behind them must also be trying to outrun the storm. Abdu must have presumed the same as he pulled to one side to let it pass, but it did not overtake. "What's wrong with these people?" Theo shouted, gesturing at the driver to keep his distance. Abdu pulled over further to give the driver more room, but still the driver did not overtake. It was then that Theo saw the military uniforms, and knew. "Abdu!" he screamed.